We're live. A Minor Hoops podcast to show the freshest opinion and views on the world's most beautiful game. I'm your host, Greg. I'm here with the homies Brian, TK. Shout out to the homie Leak in his absence. And got Dunkman Keith holding down the camera and the audio. Boys, how we feeling?
Hey, man, I'm feeling good. We back at it again. 2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row.
Corona's still around, though, but we still here. We making it.
For sure. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Everybody, all the amazing people who are in their kids' lives and grooming them to be great young men or women or anything in between. Just got to really appreciate the fathers because we give a lot of love to Mother's Day, as we should. There's no disrespect, but let's for the fathers that are there, that are in their kids' lives, that are doing what they're supposed to be doing as men. Mm-hmm. We gotta be making.
Gotta salute them too.
Yeah.
No, I rock with that because I think it was in high school. There was 1 year where social media like really just down fathers on Father's Day. Yeah. And it was like the real father, and they had their moms up, and I was like, I see what you're trying to say.
I get it. She has a day.
Right. I see what you're trying to say, but come on. Yeah. That's all. But we here. We're not gonna be long. I ain't gonna be long. We can't be long because I gotta cook. I gotta cook for my pops. I got the crab legs going, the crab boil going. So I gotta get up out of here. I guess y'all can be there if y'all want to come. We got no food for y'all. You trying to slide?
I got a lot of schoolwork that I need to catch up on.
You got schoolwork.
Yeah.
You got schoolwork. C's get degrees, bro.
You're right, but you gotta at least do the work to get a C.
Half of it.
You gotta do something.
69% to be exact.
I got 0.
Okay. All right. Good. All right. I ain't gonna hold you. So let's get into it. There's a lot happening in sports right now, and we kind of touched on a lot of it from the last podcast, and we appreciate all the love that came out of the last episode. The response we got from that episode was really, really strong, and I appreciate that. We appreciate that. But feeding off of that, NBA players have been making stands. We talked about Kyrie and that players coalition and how they're going about making changes to the league and trying to expand the awareness of the social injustice that our community needs within the league and around it. I think it's commendable. However, we've had people speak up in opposition of them, and which I think is fine. I have no problem with disagreements.
Yeah, I think we all made our opinions very clear last week. Like I said, there's no wrong way to go to think about this in a sense. It's your opinion, it's your preference. I think the biggest issue we had was the way some of these people went about it.
And one of those people being Stephen A. Smith. I have a lot of respect for Stephen A. Smith as an African-American man, as an African-American man in media, as someone who has grinded his way to ESPN to a level that, I'm sorry, a lot of people can't get to. A lot of respect for him. But last week was a complete miss to me. I think he missed all week long.
He missed the target by a wide margin.
Like, for you to disagree with the sentiments of these players who are speaking out and saying, y'all going about it the wrong way, not following protocol, that's fine. But once again, when you start using language, and we kind of hit on that around Wojnarowski when he mentioned that Kyrie was a disruptor, and they started using very antagonistic language towards Kyrie. I was disappointed with Wojnarowski, but at the same time, I'm even more disappointed with the way Stephen A. has handled himself. Because in all of this situation, you speak very strongly about the divisiveness of our culture and how we should be in unity. But you use your platform to create more division. And so I don't want to go too further because I want to let these guys get their talk off. But do we have the clip? Do we have it, or do you have?
Which one? It was like 4 of them he had this week. That was like, wow.
I think start with the first one. The first one when he was like, where have y'all been? You're late. Like all of that. I'm like, that was really rough to listen to because I'm like, how?
So Stephen A, like I said, I'm with you, Greg. Like Stephen A's point this week, or the points he was trying to make this week, essentially, it boiled down to like one or two things. Either players hadn't done enough earlier,
right?
Which doesn't make sense to me because, I mean, essentially, like you're gonna blame. So, like, are you blaming every black person for not fighting for civil rights before 1960? Are you blaming every black person for not fighting for slavery or the end of slavery before 1865? Like, where's that draw line happen? Like, players can only do what they have the power to do. Like, try to make the example of like LeBron James and D Wade standing up for David Fizdale. Okay, think about the two players you just named. LeBron James, who a lot of us acknowledge as being too powerful in the NBA, and Dwayne Wade, who is probably one of the most respected figures in NBA history. Like, it took those two to vouch for David Fizdale to get a job. So you really think Dwight Howard speaking out about somebody's going to get him a job? Kyrie Irving, who is a known, the way the media has portrayed him, a known head case, is going to speak out about somebody and get them a job? No. Only certain players do that. He tried to use the Phil Jackson, Michael Jordan example. That was a horrible example.
You talking about the GOAT.
The most powerful player in sports.
But here's the thing that made it bad. He was like, well, Michael Jordan said he wasn't going to play for any other coach but Phil. But who wouldn't have said that? Phil just won 6 titles. Like, that was Phil Jackson at his peak. Like, of course, I would have said that. Yo, you're going to fire a 6-time champion?
The whole world was confused.
Everybody was like, yo, you're an idiot. Everybody told Jerry Krause he was an idiot. So that was a bad example. You can't blame players for not sticking their neck out when most players don't have the power to affect real change like that.
Right. Or the leverage.
Like, it's just a fact. And quiet as kept, I'm all for more black coaches in the NBA. There definitely should be. But some of the ones that have gotten jobs ain't did that well. Quiet as kept. Now, most coaches in the NBA don't do well. So It is what it is. But it's hard to stick my neck out for a coach that just went 20-52. I don't know what I'm supposed to do on that one.
Right.
And then his other point was just like, he basically just said the player's message lacked cohesion or it lacked clarity, which I understood to a point.
Okay.
I got you. I know where you're going. I'm going to get there with you. Like, I understood what he was trying to say to a point.
Mm-hmm.
The problem I had with Stephen A on this one was Mr. Stephen A, the guy who claims he is so well connected that he has all these players who can contact him. He has all these agents that can contact him. If you're so worried about their message and their clarity, why didn't you pick up the phone and call Kyrie and Dwight Howard and Avery Bradley and say, hey, what exactly are y'all trying to say so I can go on First Take and let everybody know?
Because it's easier to critique. It's easier for me to get my headlines off on ESPN on First Take as opposed to actually speaking and making change. Now, like you said, they lack cohesion to start. They came back and they had a long list of things that they would like fixed. So for you to still say, oh, where have you been? What have y'all done? Why y'all waited till now? Well, our leverage is now.
Exactly.
This is the moment. The ball is legit in our court. We can actually do something now. So for you to be upset with them and say, oh, I can't believe y'all waited this long, and to call them foolish on other occasions and stuff like that, I'm like, come on, man. You're supposed to be better than that. You're supposed to be better than that. And then there's a lot of people that has a mindset where they're like, you know what? This is the Stephen A we've always seen. And this is the Stephen A we've always thought was the case. And so, you know what? This is on par with him. And that's even more disappointing. Because we're supposed to, if you have this platform, you are an African-American man, you have this platform, how do you plan to use it? How do you plan to use it? Are you just going to do your job as an ESPN staff member, as a person on payroll? Or are you going to actually use it and go a little further and say, you know what? Because I have this platform, I also have these connections. Because of these connections, I can also help facilitate some of these changes. As opposed to me just beating everybody up every time they say or do something that I don't like.
Yeah.
And don't say Stephen A. Oh, you lack I guess heart, or we can't take criticism well. Like, that's not what this is. Don't do that. People are soft because you feel like, oh, because we disagree or we don't like the way you came at something, then that means we're soft about your take. No. Criticism on both ends have to be respectful. And you have not shown that this last week. I'm sorry. We did not let TK talk at all.
Not at all.
Cool. No, it's fine. Wasn't much that I should have interjected with. I think both you guys hit perfect points. Stephen A. Smith is a disruptor. He's an agent of chaos, and I think he thrives off of this, which is partly the reason why he hasn't searched for clarity. Because right now, what are we all doing? Talking about Stephen A. Smith being an idiot. And this has always been historically. Like you said, like, oh, why now? Like with the players, how he felt. When Cap was doing this, Stephen A. always poked holes and found something wrong. Like when Cap had switched the venue because they controlled all of the media footage that was going to come out of that practice, that workout that was granted to him, and he had an open one so where he can show the actual footage so it wouldn't be manipulated. Stephen A. Smith, and I have a quote right here, you don't want to work, you just want to make noise, and you want to control the narrative. It's over. Stuff like that isn't supportive. Like when Cap was taking a knee, where were you, Stephen A? You were critiquing him the entire way. You literally says he don't want to play. He wants to be a martyr. If he's not attempting to look for any kind of cohesion, he's not. At this point, like I thoroughly believe Stephen A. Smith loves this. He thrives off the chaos off of his own personal platform. He's selfish. If the players banded together and did want the lead to end and had everything right and equipped and there was unity, I guarantee he finds something wrong. He's going to poke a hole. I'm sick of hearing his mouth, especially if you're not even going to try to have a discussion. This isn't supposed to be a debate. This isn't supposed to be an argument. Like, we can have differences of opinion.
Facts.
But you're being disrespectful. Foolish? You call a grown man who's willing to put his career and life on the line for the fight of social injustice foolish? When he's willing to say, like, hey, look at the power we have economically to topple a lot of this, you calling him foolish? Like, nah, I'm not disappointed. That's expected. I think that's him. Everything was within character with Stephen A. I'm not surprised nor disappointed. I don't have the energy with him anymore. It's really, 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 really pitiful.
So in this moment, I think it's best to say, and I'm a tag Stephen A. when we put this out, for sure. But I think it's best to say that no matter where you are on any level, whether you're a player, whether you are a coach, executive, or member of the media, and you are African American man, yes, you have a right to disagree. If you watched our pod last week, we did not agree on how the players should return. It was actually 3-1, I think.
Yeah.
And
we all said the league should, and he was like, yo, I can see, but ain't nobody called Greg foolish. I understood exactly where he was coming from.
And I think at some point we have to realize we're still on the same team. We get caught up on these shows, on these debates, and on all these medias and lose ourselves for the hype, for the camera, for the lights, for the clicks, and forget that we are trying to solve a legit problem. People on the same team are all trying to win the game. How we go about winning that game may look a little different, but we're all trying to win that game. And I think last week was a highlight moment where, and it wasn't just that, it was a lot of distraction moments that happened in the media, and we're not going to get into all of that. But last week highlighted how it is so easy to get us lost in the moment, in the game, and forget what we're fighting for. And so, Stephen A., like I said, I still have a great amount of respect for you as a leader in this industry, for the way you got there, for how you grinded to the top, coming out of the HBCU. You are every bit of deserving of the position you hold.
Facts.
Every bit of deserving for the position you hold. But right now, it doesn't look like anybody's checking you when you make a mistake. Max can't say nothing because Max is white. Jay can't say nothing much because, honestly, yes, Jay is a basketball player. He's been doing ESPN for quite a while, but he's just new to First Take. And so he may not feel comfortable saying something, checking you when you out of line. But you were way out of line last week. Way out of line. And your homie, Kendrick Perkins, is just as off too. I don't know which one of y'all want to start on that.
Just put it on the pod so all the listeners can understand exactly what we're talking about. Kendrick Perkins has been going at Kyrie like with a singular focus throughout the entirety of this, and it has been extremely disrespectful and extremely dismissive of everything that this man might have been feeling or his attempt to fight for us as a people. I have the quote right here, specifically the one that made Kevin Durant finally speak up. Mm-hmm. Kendrick says, Kyrie, right now, you are the distraction. You are the distractor. It's crazy to me because you come out and you do something simply without talking to President Chris Paul or consulting with Michelle Roberts. Let's sit out without a plan. It makes zero sense, and I totally disagree.
Hold up. What is the point of a protest?
To disrupt.
Oh, who knew? That's not the point of a protest. It's not to be the point of a protest is to
step
be
outside of the protocol.
It's to be a distraction.
If anybody's cool with you protesting, you're not protesting.
Exactly.
Like if everybody's like, you know what, we're fine with that, then you're not doing anything.
Like real talk, it goes back to my whole point last week. Like I think I was the only one that was like, yo, I don't want the NBA to come back simply on the fact of I want it to be a distraction. Yeah. I want everybody to stop and say, why aren't these players playing?
Yeah, for sure.
Make people uncomfortable.
Nah, they agree with you. They rock with you.
Apparently, like Kendrick is essentially saying what I just said last week. If Kyrie and them said we're not going to play, guess what? There's your distraction. Instead of the NBA being the distraction and basketball and entertainment being the distraction now is
why aren't they playing?
Why aren't they playing? Because they are trying to make a change in this country.
Yeah, it makes you one analyze the reason behind the action. Like
right,
Cap kneeling. Why is he kneeling? Boom. Now there's an entire discussion around
exactly. We can have a conversation now.
There's nothing taking away from it.
And it's hilarious because they throw out the distraction word, but like what is this distracting us from? Like they keep saying he's a disruptor, he's a distractor. Like from what? From normalcy? Yeah. He is a disruptor and distraction from normalcy because normalcy is black men hanging from trees. Normalcy is black woman being terrorized and abused in this country. Normalcy is me getting scared every time I even see a cop car. Like that's normal. If he's distracting us from normalcy into the sense where we don't want to feel like we're going to ease back into that,
right?
Accepting that, going outside and just say, hey, like this is just life as a black man. If that's what you want to call him a distraction for, it's beautiful. But if you're calling him a distraction because you want to talk about basketball, then you have to reevaluate who you are as a person. Because if you're really, really, really pressing it that much where you're attacking a man's character without even analyzing exactly what he's doing, you just want to return to normalcy.
And I take real big issue. And this, like I said, I kind of hit on this with Stephen A. Smith. I'm going to really hit on it with Kendrick because I'm gonna stop calling him Kendrick because I respect Kendrick Lamar too much for that. Perkins, I have a real problem with Perkins the way he said this, because at the end of it, he says he keeps pointing out this idea of like they're gonna sit out without a plan. They're not communicating. They're not doing this. Mm-hmm. And what that all boils back down to me is you're essentially saying this black man can't figure it out. Either he's not intelligent enough to, or he's not doing it. He's ignorant. However you want to phrase it. It boils back down to this idea of this black man is not going to be able to put together a movement. He's not going to be able to actually affect change. However you want to, like, you can take that in so many different ways, but that essentially is what it boils back down to.
He's calling it pointless. Like, let's just skip
all.
You're calling him incompetent. You're like, well, you don't have a plan. Like, am I supposed to have the whole thing figured out in 24 hours? Like, I don't know anybody that's ever done that. Shoot, you and me, when we started the podcast, it still took us 3-4 days to really set it all up. Like, nothing happens in 24 hours. America has been this way for 400 years, and you expect Kyrie Irving to all of a sudden fix it
in 24 hours.
In 24 hours. Kyrie's going to have the master plan in 24 hours. Like, give me a break.
That's such a great perspective. Like, yeah, this has been hundreds.
So and this is my question. Like, if Kyrie Irving now came out tomorrow, it's been, a week now?
Yeah.
If he came out tomorrow and he was like, yo, I have 10 points I want to hit on. Boom, boom. I don't know what they are. I don't know what way, but let's just say, 10 points. He had them perfectly lined out. Everybody told everybody what their roles was going to be and blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. I guarantee you there would still be an issue.
Of course. And that's why I said people like Stephen A., people like Kendrick Perkins, they're just agents of chaos. They're going to look for something negative and wrong regardless of what it is. Rather than building, they like tearing down.
I mean, I'm going
to go that far. That's my personal view and opinion.
I'm with you. I was more so saying I'm not gonna go as far as KD to say what he said.
No, I said
I am gonna say
Kendrick Perkins and
No, I'm saying like what KD said about.
Call him a sellout.
I won't go as far as to say that because I do think that's a very.
You walking a line. You're towing a real.
That's a big step. That's a big line to walk on. But I will go as far as to say this is a very corporate image now. You can see they are protecting the brand. Everybody want to forget, ESPN is owned by who?
Disney.
Where are they playing these games?
Disney.
I'm like everybody, and once again, can't fault anybody for trying to protect their money.
No, you can. You can, bro. That's the thing.
The whole
That's
point.
the thing. What's the price for a black man's life, dog? That is the issue I had.
Yeah. I was trying to walk the line.
No, if you're making enough money where you have to stop and think like, oh, if I actually do this in this kind of way for my people, I'm going to lose out. Like I said, like I understand people got to take care of their families, but at the end of the day, we all got to look ourselves in the mirror. I would just wonder, like, I had a number next to my activism. And when that number got hit, the activism drops. Because that's how I feel like when they're on TV and you said like they're protecting the brand, that's how it feels. It's like for this check, I can stay within this mold.
How do you want yourself to be represented? When you wake up on a daily basis, what represents you? Is it this job? Is it your race? Your religion? I mean, what represents you? And when those things start to get imbalanced, the rest of the world, especially when you're on that platform, the rest of the world can see it. And they've been saying stuff about this for a long time. And I've been like, you know what? He just has a different perspective. You know what? Maybe he just sees it a different way, or he's older, so there's certain. I haven't hit that age yet where I haven't caught what he caught. My dad says it all the time. When you get to my age, you'll understand this better. He says about a lot of different topics, a lot of different things.
That's his go-to.
When you get to my age, you'll know what I'm talking about. He said that about, like, we were talking about big men's in
The
said
70s.
in the 70s. He said 70s big men's were better than 90s big men's, and I'm like, wait, what? And I'm like, take that back.
When you get to my age, you
Yeah,
know what I'm
he
talking
threw that
about.
at me. I was like, you gotta stop that. That's not it. But that happens entirely too often, and I think in this case, in Stephen A's case, in Kendrick Perkins' case, and I'm like I said, I am not going to go that far into calling them sellouts. I am not going to go that far into calling them Uncle Toms. I think any statement that kind of toes with that line is dangerous and divisive, and I refuse to be any of those things.
For sure.
Refuse to be any of those things. I will respect you as an African American through and through.
I got to see you go above and beyond before I call you that.
Right. Like, I refuse to do that. Refuse. But, man, come on, bro. What represents you?
Like I said, it was very, like I said, I really wish this is something we had talked about last week because we should have all saw it coming. But it was like so interesting once everybody came back to ESPN on Monday and they all had the same message. Kyrie Irving is a distractor. He is like they all hit the same points. It didn't matter what show you watched. Didn't matter if it was a black, white co-host. They all hit the same point. ESPN came out with a very clear message of we are not letting Kyrie get in the way of this money. And like I said, KD called it a sellout. I call it, hey, you're protecting your business. Once again, I'm not gonna fault anybody for that. If that's the way you're choosing to live your life now, that's on you. That's something you gotta live with. I'm not gonna fault you for it because, like I said, at that point, it's just a matter of preference. Stephen A. I honestly think Stephen A. to an extent does believe the NBA should come back because he thinks not so much a return of normalcy, but just the idea of, like I said, you have to give people something. Like
he went further. He says you need to look past the owners and look past the players.
Exactly.
There are a lot of jobs that people need.
For sure.
We're talking about staffers and
very true
managers of the team and
that
things
was like
like
the best
that.
one he made all week.
Like I was like, okay, you know what? Yeah, those are middle class, lower middle class, maybe low class individuals who have those jobs, interns, whatever, who have these opportunities. And to advance themselves, they need to continue to work and sustain their level of living. I get that.
No
But
brands out here.
outside of that, it was a complete utter miss. He went 1 for 9 all week.
It was an ugly 1 for 9. I've seen some pretty 1 for 9s before.
That was a nasty 1 for 9. Someone should have took him to the bench. So
It was rough.
I'm disappointed. You got people on the positive. TK said he's not. This is what he expects. I'm disappointed, and I want better. So,
I definitely want better as well.
Mr. Stephen A., I want better. If you're seeing this, if it catches your eye, I hope it does. Please understand what we're saying. This is not to attack you. This is not to come at you and say, like, and especially if anybody can take anything, it should be you, because you say a lot of wild stuff and you don't go to nobody about what you say until after the fact it already hits the fan. So don't be soft, please. Don't be soft when you hear this, see this, whatever, because this is not that. We respect you, but you got to do better. What's going to represent you? I ain't got nothing else on that.
No, yeah, he definitely deserves his platform, but it's damaging right now. That's just the way I view it.
So, according to ESPN, you about to say something?
Yo, Stephen, I got nothing but respect for you. Like I said, I appreciate your grind, everything you're trying to do. Perkins, I'm sorry, I don't have that same respect.
Oh no!
I'm sorry,
Hey,
I don't.
How many episodes ago was it when I was like,
I
"Yo,
don't have
KP,
that same respect for Perkins. I'm
like,
sorry.
KP says off the wall stuff.
Hold on.
Baseless off the stuff.
Facts.
Go ahead.
Let me clarify this. Perkins, I respect you as an athlete. You made it to the NBA better than 99.9% of basketball players.
We ain't doing it.
I ain't get close to it. I don't think anybody in this room has gotten close to that. So I respect you as an athlete. As a analyst and journalist, however you want to call yourself, commentator, whatever, however you want to call yourself.
Member of the media.
I don't respect you right now. Sorry. Don't.
Not even right now. I don't think I ever did. Real quick, just gonna hit on the KD topic a little bit more about the sellout, because we do analyze that word and how it means to us as a people. Mm-hmm. But this is also a personal thing with KD as well. Yeah, so it might not have been like I'm not saying that I'm translating for KD. I'm just thinking in his mind,
right?
It's more so he felt like Perk turned his back on him. So it's more like a personal thing, not like as a black man, but like as somebody who was supposed to be my brother. Mm-hmm. You know, because this isn't the first time they've had run-ins with Perk just saying whatever out of his mouth about this man,
and then trying to walk it back,
and then about things around him. Like this has been going on for months. So KD might have looked at it like with some aspect like that. You know what I mean? As well, because I agree. Like we have to be real cautious when the Uncle Toms, the sellouts, and all of that as a people, because we're all searching for unity, and we don't necessarily want to push everything outside that we don't agree in that moment. But KD's perspective, using that word, it could have fit on a personal level.
Yeah, that was something I can't remember who I was watching, but they brought that up. They was like the problem KD is having with Perkins right now is, unlike Stephen A. and Max and Skip and all these guys, like Kendrick was in the locker room. Sorry, stop calling him Kendrick. Perkins was in the locker room. Mm-hmm. Like, he was there on the hotel trips. Like I said, Perkins had that long soliloquy where he's talking about, you used to come to my house and you used to do that.
Another thing, bro,
real quick, it felt so disingenuous to me.
It was disingenuous. It was definitely a breach of trust, because when you tell people stuff like that in a moment, when they're your brothers, blah, 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 Greg knows
in the room, dog.
Greg knows a whole lot about my life. If somehow down the line me and Greg aren't cool anymore, I do not expect him to divulge any of that information nationally. That was extremely disrespectful. And if KD wants to call you a sellout for that too, yeah, for sure. Like, he can keep going at you for that. Like, that was beyond disrespectful.
If that's your boy, I've always said, the closest ones to me know things the rest of the world doesn't, and they know it for a reason. Yeah. And I expect them to never, ever speak on it in front of anybody else except me. That's it. That is it. So if I offered myself up to you in that space, if Kevin Durant offered himself up to you in that space, and like he mentioned, vented and all of that, and like if he was willing to do that, then that means you should have been willing to take that to the grave. And if you weren't, you should have told Katie, yo, you can't tell me that. I don't think I'm the right person for you. That's what should have been said. That's what should have been said. That does not go to ESPN. They do not get paid off of that statement. You do not get paid off of talking about your personal relationship in that manner. Y'all can say y'all close. Y'all can say y'all very close. But when you start opening stuff up, you cannot do that. That's some fake stuff. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I think that's the whole point. I think that's been KD's biggest issue with Perkins since he's become a member of the media. Perkins I hate saying this. Perkins' whole media personality has been based on him being part of great teams with all-time great players.
Yeah.
Like, that's been his whole media personality. That's been where he gets his respect from.
The guy that knows a guy.
The guy that knows the guy, or the guy who protected the guy. Like, he essentially gets his respect for being the bodyguard of Kevin Durant in OKC. He gets his respect for being the defensive anchor, fifth option on the Boston Celtics.
Seventh.
Whatever. Like, that's what Perkins gets his respect for. Like, so now you're using that information to, like I said, talk about KD.
What else do you have to offer?
That's part. And then, like I said, KD looks at it, he's like, yo, why are you using this information to, one, not only enrich yourself, which, I mean, I don't think anybody really has a problem with that. If you're going to make your money, make your money. But then you're using it to downplay me or to talk bad about me, to put me in a negative light. Like, how does that work? You're rich off my name, and you're trying to tear down my name.
I don't go that far. Perk earned his wealth. He was an NBA star. Not star.
I'm talking about the money he's making in the media.
Oh, in the media right now, for sure. Every dollar is come off KD.
I'm talking about everything he's making in the media
every
right
dollar
now.
has come off the back of KD.
KD, Garnett, Pierce. he's
Rondo,
LeBron. He's made his name on being the guy who knows the guy on great teams.
No, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I was in the locker room with LeBron when he had steak one time. Like, that's what he's done.
Nah, like my biggest thing is when I look at it, I'm like, I'm pretty sure Kevin and Perk have had conversations that were so intimate about the things that KD actually hates about like basketball, like the media specifically.
right?
And now you're going out and doing
The
to
very
him.
thing.
I'm just like, yo, like that's backstabbing, that's betrayal. And I can see why KD feels this way.
So, yeah. I said what I said. Perkins, I ain't got no respect for you as a media analyst. As a basketball player,
Yeah,
I
for sure.
have most respect.
For sure.
Media personality, I'm sorry, man. I ain't rocking with you.
Yeah, we don't be hating on here. We just keep it real.
Facts. No hate. Get your bread.
What's next?
Sure. Let me look at the docket, bro. Let me look at the docket. Oh man. Oh, okay. So. They're supposed to return to Florida. We might get Dunkman Keith interjection because we talking about Disney again in Florida. But according to CNN, there has been. Let me make sure I get this right. There has been a record.
Like 100 million thousand new corona cases, or that's what we
Yeah,
going next?
yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God. I think it was like it was like
I don't want 4,000.
Yeah, I would say
new cases.
it was every day. It was like high 2,000s. It was like, oh, we gonna touch 3,000. It was like 4,000 something.
Yeah,
I was like,
it was-
what?
They hit a record high 3 days in a row. So
And that's where y'all want to play the NBA at? Cause y'all want to put on rings and try to catch it 3 days early?
I love Adam Silver. Adam Silver said he still has faith that the bubble concept could be.
But just think about the extent of we're going to play basketball. I love the game. I do. I believe it. And economically, yes, I understand like the repercussions of not playing it. But Stephen A., this is something that also didn't make sense because when he was speaking about Kyrie, he had said, not to circle back around to this man because I don't want to talk about him, but he has said that if Kyrie Irving wanted to shut down the league because of Corona, then that's one thing. That's fine. That's health. But if he wants to shut down the league because of social injustice, and I was like, what are you talking about? So he says, oh, you're like, I'm scared for my own personal health, but he's like, I'm scared for the health of the entire black community, and you're like, not enough. What? What? Do you hear what you just said? Like, did he really
pull about the game, coach?
Oh my God, it was awful. It was so awful. Like, I think I was watching it, and as soon as he said that, I just cut it off. I was like, there's nothing else you could say after what you just said that's gonna make me validate you, like, just as a media person right now in that moment. Like, I'm gonna need it to watch you another day.
Facts. I saw that, and I was like, we gotta talk about it. Like, that's when I made my mind up. I said, we gotta talk about Stephen A.
Bro, a lot of people say a lot of dumb things. I've said a lot of dumb things. Go back throughout these entire pods. Like, I'm pretty sure I said something stupid. Like, horrendously stupid. That was the stupidest thing Stephen A. has ever said. Because it didn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense. So you're telling me if Kyrie came out and was like, yo, let's shut down the league because of Corona, y'all would have just been good?
You know what's funny? Max Kellerman, I think Jay was on the show at the same time, too. Max was looking at him like,
that was the dumbest thing. But Max can't say anything right now.
Max is like, you got me this job.
Yeah.
It was so bad. He was like, yo, I don't know about that.
The white man.
Max was looking like Shannon Sharp be looking at
Skip
Skip like, I'm not here if you're not here, so
Fact.
Go ahead, just
that joint was rough. That joint was rough to listen to.
Stephen A. just going unchecked. Like, it's ridiculous. Am I tripping? Like,
no, you're right.
I was just trying to
letting you go.
I'm with you.
Yeah, because I was thinking about that for
Absolute
a while,
power corrupts
and I was
absolutely.
like, that did not.
When I said he went 1 for 9, he went 1 for 9, bro. He did not have a good week.
Man, that was the air ball come down the court and a foul on the other end, and it's a clear path. Like, that's how bad that joint was.
Oh man.
Oh man. So like Florida.
Yes.
4,000 new cases, record high. They still say they can hoop. They got these rings that they're gonna put on the players. That's supposed. I don't know how real.
Gave him 100.
Is this real?
Gave him 100-page book, handbook for the rules.
Yeah. Like the book is pretty detailed. They can play ping pong, but they can't play doubles. Like,
is that a thing, really?
Yeah.
Oh man, I didn't see
They
that.
can play
Oh,
ping
that's
pong, but they can't play
hilarious.
doubles. to play.
Who plays doubles ping pong?
That people do.
I mean, I know people do,
Table
but like
tennis
you're
is
professionals.
legit.
I got
like professionals do.
I can't.
Like I don't know regular people that play
We can't
doubles.
be- we
ping
can't be on
pong.
the same side of-
Exactly.
Table tennis is a tough sport.
Oh, I love table tennis.
And that is
I
a
love it.
sport.
I love it.
Sure.
I don't know anybody that's not a professional that plays doubles table tennis.
True,
Like
true.
I don't know anybody.
I'm gonna wait till I get next. Like,
So, like, they're gonna be pretty much holed up in their rooms to kind of start out, and then they'll kind of get more leverage in terms of how they move around. They'll bring in barbers.
but you
so
know
they
what's
can get
hilarious
haircuts
about
and all
this? The players are trapped there, but staff aren't. It's like what? Oh, it's too safe. I mean, it's too dangerous for y'all to leave once y'all are here. But everybody you're coming into contact to can freely go, and you don't know where they're gonna be.
Look, their mentality is, at least in terms of how I'm looking at it, in terms of how I'm reading it, their mentality is everybody else can be sick and positive, but please, not LeBron,
not the players,
not Kawhi, not PG,
Not Giannis.
not CP3, not Giannis. You guys stay safe. If any, I don't want to say this. If LeBron James get the Rona,
it's a
wrap.
It's wrapped.
The league is shutting down. The league is shutting down.
Bro, it's gonna go farther than that.
Pat Bev said it.
Adam Silver might not be commissioner anymore after this. Like if
Pat
that
Bev
happens,
said it.
no. I'm
bro,
not
if
going
it
that
goes,
far.
bro,
I'm
if
not
it
going
goes,
that far.
if it goes that far, where somebody like LeBron James catches Corona and then,
No.
Some-
I'm not
I'm
going
telling you.
I'm not going that far. I'm not going that far.
But
hey,
Pat-
I just hope he's straight off of it, man. This has been killing people. Realistically, let's think about it.
Yes.
Like
Yeah,
why
I'm
did
with
the
you on
league?
that.
Why did the league shut down?
I mean, we're with you on that. Or I just don't.
But you're
think
coming back in where it's worse now.
But if the players agree, they can't fire Adam Silver for that. Like,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Like Pat Bev has said as much. Like Pat Bev pretty much acknowledged how much power LeBron has in the league. When everybody was talking about Kyrie and Avery Bradley and Dwight Howard,
He's like, let's keep it
Pat
real.
Bev was like, "Yo, let's keep it 100, y'all. If LeBron says we
We
playing,
gonna who?
everybody's gonna be playing, and it's that simple." And you know what? I was like, can't argue with you.
I'm not. He said what he said was 100% right.
Right.
If
I wouldn't have said it out loud because, once again, it's divisive,
Yeah.
especially in terms of what they were
It sounded
talking about.
dismissive, but I understood exactly what he
In
was
terms of what
coming
they were
from.
talking
Yeah.
about, they wouldn't talk about Corona. They were more so talking about the social injustice and how they should and should not play. I probably wouldn't have said it in terms of that, in terms of
What he
that
said was
context,
right.
But he was right
But
because
yeah.
LeBron James goes in that bubble and are those rings real?
I don't know. I
really
need more.
wanna
I need
know,
more
bro.
research.
Like I've been seeing it entirely too
I've
much.
seen it pop up a few times.
I'm like,
I don't know if it's legit yet.
Like, but if he comes up positive for Corona, all bets are off. Everybody go back home. Everybody.
But it's just gonna look so stupid.
Oh, it's
Like,
gonna look really bad. And you know what?
and
I
the
would go
chance of that is
I
high.
would go this far to say if LeBron James has Rona,
I don't think they're
my
gonna
God,
divulge that information to us.
not gonna tell us.
I think they just gonna let it spread in the NBA and let them keep hooping, bro.
They're
That's
gonna let
sick.
it rock.
That's sick.
See, this
got
is when y'all start going down the conspiracy theory.
It's
hole,
not
and
even.
I'm just
I
like,
think they are gonna let it rock at this point. If you're doing this much work to bring the league
I
back,
don't want to be held liable for any of this.
hey, look, I think they don't care about the health and safety of their players how they say they do, because it feels rushed.
No, I think they. I trust Adam Silver.
Oh, shout out Adam. Yeah,
I
I think he's been doing a phenomenal job as a commissioner since
I
he
think
became
if he
one.
can successfully get through this year and the year after this,
Legacy.
he might be the best commissioner in sports history.
Yeah, any sport. Any sport,
And I
bro.
know that's wild to say when we talk about Davis.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
Stern,
David Stern, what he did, just period. But if Adam Silver can boom, boom, boom,
But this right now is unprecedented in so many ways.
and it's funny because he hasn't missed since he became commissioner.
has not.
He hasn't missed. This has
Granted,
been the
you know
toughest
what,
of times.
You know what it feels like? And I don't like mentioning their names, but the Kardashians. It feels like.
Where are you going with this?
Yeah.
Listen to me.
I'm
It's
listening.
I
You
know.
have the
This is
floor.
gonna be wild. It's gonna be wild. It feels like Kim got the bag, and the family, the first generation got that bag, right?
Are you talking about Adam Silver's Kylie? David Stern was killed by Adam Silver's
You know
Kylie.
what, man? The bag is bigger. And she just took the platform and raised it, fam.
Man, let's circle it back.
Like, it might be.
So back to Florida.
I get the analogy, but I just
back to
like,
Florida.
I couldn't think of anything better. But honestly, he has raised the level of the league.
Yeah,
And I
for
think
sure.
that's my point.
For
He's
sure.
raised the level of the league, and he's taken it to a different place. And that is something that can't be ignored.
No,
That's
for
why I
sure.
don't feel like his job is on the line at all. No matter what takes place in Florida, I honestly don't think his job is on the line.
I can understand that 100%.
So,
Like, I'm not saying
I
he
have a
should
lot.
be.
I have
I'm
a
just
lot of
saying-
faith in him to make the right decision because he has done that consistently so far.
I'm saying stuff go left.
Stuff do go left, man.
It's a
Stuff do
scapegoat
go
effect
left.
too. It's like boom.
They're not gonna scapegoat.
Yeah, they can't. They're not gonna skate.
I hope not. I think the players actually appreciate Adam Silver. I think they want him there,
once
so I
again,
think he's gonna be fine. But
they can't come back unless the players agree. So
Yeah.
if the players agree to come back, at that point, Adam Silver's off the hook. For the most part, anyway. Like I said, he'll still take
He'll
some
take a
blame.
hit, but
Yeah,
yeah.
he'll take some blame,
he'll
but
still be in his position.
he'll be off the hook as far as everything, like major consequences. As far as them coming back, I mean, it's weird to say they almost don't have a choice. If they want to maintain their money, they want to maintain the collective bargaining agreement, they almost don't have a choice but to at least try. Like, they have to at least try.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but
And
what's the price?
Now, that's the question. What's the price?
the price?
And I think that's kind of the thing everybody's looking at. Is like, do the players really want to sit out? Because once again, if they choose to sit out this season, they say, all right, you know what, we're just scrapping it. It's too much of a risk. We're not coming back. And then the owners, who are well within their right to then scrap the collective bargaining agreement,
Yeah.
that now means you don't have a guaranteed next season.
And they did, and I think he was on 2 platforms. I think he went on NBA on TNT with Ernie, and I think he was on ESPN as well. And he said, Adam Silver said that he has spoken with league owners and said that players who choose not to play, they will honor their contracts, so they won't tear up
Yeah,
the CBA
exactly.
going forward. However, they will not get paid. There will be a portion taken away for the replacement players, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So,
Which I'm fine
I
with.
thought that was commendable. I just want to
Yeah,
put that out
that
there
was
and make
good.
sure we was good.
That was a
So
good
go ahead.
move. But like I said, if this choose, like I said, they don't come back at all.
Yeah.
Or it does, like I said, let's say they come back for a week and then they have a spike of corona
And then
in the
it shuts
bubble.
down.
And then it
now
shuts
you have
down
more
again.
leverage if you're gonna renegotiate the CBA. It's like, yo, we tried.
Well, like I said, we try, but then it's still this idea of, like I said, the collective bargaining agreement is now scrapped. There's no guarantee next season. Like, it's not guaranteed. And here's the thing about it. We don't technically know when corona's gonna end.
No, we don't have a clue.
So if you come back and it gets worse, or there's an outbreak, or however you want to phrase it, or they don't come back at all, who's to say you're gonna have a next season? You're talking about 2 seasons of no NBA, maybe. How do you bounce back from that? LeBron will be 37. That's the end of LeBron.
Yeah.
That's the end of LeBron James as we know him.
Or else he's in a hyperbolic time chamber.
I mean, he has that type of money, so it wouldn't shock me. But still, like, I'm sorry, I'm not
A
buying
reverse hyperbolic time chamber.
I'm
Turns
not
into
buying a
31 again.
37-year-old LeBron after 2 years off ain't coming back and being the best player in the world no
Unless
more.
he's 31.
Oh my gosh. So I mean, I think Chris Paul effectively would be retired. Like, we would be seeing. We could have possibly seen so many players play their last great game.
Yeah.
So I get the idea of wanting to try. The problem, like I said, what is the price on somebody's life?
What's the price?
Because all it takes, like you said, is for one. I don't even think it has to be LeBron. If it's Kawhi,
If it's a star, bro.
Giannis, if it's Luka, whoever. If it's somebody who is a top 10 player in the league, all bets are off at that point.
Yeah.
And that is an issue. And you can sit here and talk about a bubble all you want to. As long as there's people going in and out of the bubble, there's a problem.
That doesn't even make sense.
I don't care how well you keep the players locked up in their room, whatever. As long as people are walking in and out of that bubble, there is a risk. Now you can minimize risk
Yeah,
no doubt. You can minimize it.
It's still a risk.
But it's still there.
And that's mentioned in the 100-page.
The dissertation.
The 100-page dissertation on how they plan to protect players, staff, coaches. Because we didn't really get into coaches. I don't know that league average for age of coaches.
They already said like they already talking about like some coaches may not be
like
able
if
to
you're
sit
over,
on the bench with
if
their
you're over like
players.
65 or something like that, it was like, yo, you might not be able to be on the court.
Facts. So and they're looking at their health. They getting them to take physicals and looking at their health and make sure if they are allowed or whatnot. But they're talking about staffers will have to keep social distance. I think they said make sure they do that. Mm-hmm. Only people coming up in close proximity would be other players. Like stuff of that nature. It is so tricky. I really don't know. It is so tricky. Like I said,
I get it, and at the same time, I'm like, man, I'm already on record saying I don't want him to come back for other reasons. Health reasons, of course, is a big issue. That's definitely
after seeing Florida blow up.
I mean,
like in a
we
week.
kind of knew it was gonna happen.
Of course,
It's Florida. Let's just call it what it is.
Florida,
Florida's always having something that's wilding.
It was Florida. It was South Carolina.
Texas.
I think it was North Carolina, Texas too.
Texas had a spike.
Like
it's
we
pretty
know
much
what
all
y'all doing out there.
It's pretty much all the states that
Go
opened
home.
up early. It's all the states that opened up early.
Did y'all see Miami Beach?
Ridiculous. Like all the states that opened up early are having spikes now. Like it's just that simple. So
I don't want that in Virginia.
I
know some of y'all out here think y'all can go walk on the sand or whatnot. Stay home. Stay home. My gym is gonna open back up, and if they close it, I'm gonna be so disappointed with y'all. I'm looking soft out here. I'm sorry.
What?
My arms a little. I need to get in the weight room. This is what y'all doing to me, man.
I'm weak. So I mean, I get it.
That's a pause.
That's a pause?
That's a pause.
I'm cutting it then. I can't get paused.
I'm also going on record on saying this. We haven't really talked about what the season will look like or predictions for the season if it does happen. I'm going on record now saying I don't care who wins. I don't care who loses. It don't mean nothing to me. Like
I knew you was gonna say that.
It don't mean nothing to me. I don't care who wins. I don't care who loses. Kawhi, LeBron, Giannis. I don't care. It don't mean nothing to me.
As I've always said, like I said, I stand on certain kind of principles, and y'all have heard me say it 1,000 times. A win is a win is a win is a win. Somebody wins, they can be a championship. I'm not going to look at them like they're crazy, but I don't even know if I'm going to watch the NBA if it comes back. Like, and that's saying something.
Yeah.
Like,
That's true.
I don't care if it comes back. I'm not going to disregard whoever wins it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I don't care personally. Like, yeah, you got your chip. I'm not going to down your chip. None of that. I just don't care.
I just won't watch it.
Nah, because I'm focused on other stuff.
Fact.
Like I said, let me clarify. I'm not disregarding anybody's championship. I'm just saying, to me personally, when you're talking about legacies and things of that nature.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, to me, this one just doesn't.
You saying there's
There's
quote
an
unquote
asterisk.
there's an asterisk.
Quote, yeah, you can call it asterisk. I'm not going to call it an asterisk. It's just like, it's whatever. Like, you played and it's there.
If everybody...
Like...
If everybody's playing under the same circumstances, it's not an asterisk.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A chip is a chip, is a chip is a chip. I just don't care.
I would agree with that. Like I said, I would totally agree with that if it was like a regular lockout year where it was like, okay, we just started late, we pushed, condensed the season.
I don't see the difference. Everybody went home.
It's a big difference.
Everybody went home and everybody went to the bubble.
You want to know what the difference is? This is the equivalent of running a marathon, 26 miles. And on mile 20, you told everybody to stop. Whoever was in the lead had to stop, let everybody catch up. And now we're starting this thing all over again, 6-mile stretch sprint. It's not the same race anymore.
You're making a point. Like, I always make this another point that I always make, other than a win and win, is if you're on the court, I don't care. Like, if you're on the court playing, I'm not going to make excuses for you.
My thing is,
you should have went out there and won.
You looking at it as a marathon. So, for example, if they all stopped, right? But if I'm still faster than you, shouldn't I still win the race?
But once again, not everybody runs the same. Like, this goes back to the argument we've been having all season.
I mean, the Suns had a quick start at the beginning of the season, but then they burnt out. Like, yeah.
Like, it's like everybody, like, here's the thing. If James Harden wins the title this year, somehow.
Let's go!
If James Harden
Let's go!
So if James Harden somehow wins the title this year.
He's a winner!
No!
Give him his
You
ring.
didn't do what everybody
Let's
else
go,
did.
Rice.
You didn't do what
Let's
everybody
go,
else did.
baby.
It pretty much proves our point. His
Baby
style of
Thunder
play.
in the room.
It pretty much proves our point. His style of play
can't sustain
couldn't
it,
hold
yeah.
up for a whole regular season.
And
then the playoffs.
Yeah.
You needed a 3-month break in order to be like, oh, I can actually score 30 points in the playoffs consistently now.
Nah.
You're not the same.
Nah, he got a chip.
You're not the same.
Nah, he got
You got a chip.
You gonna protect
but
your
hey,
Thunder people.
Finals MVP.
You got the chip, but we all understand the only way you're gonna win the chip is if you get 3 months off before the playoffs.
Step back like 1-3. Don't care.
I just don't care. I just don't care. I don't care, bro.
It's whatever.
It hurts. I love this game so much, but right now I just don't care.
I feel you though. Like I said, I'm gonna watch just because it is entertainment and we are starved for it right now. If it does come back,
All I heard was a distraction.
it is. It is.
And we want distraction. I'm not
we've
gonna
all
lie.
I'm
I'm
dying
dying
all
for
on record
one.
saying it is a distraction.
I'm dying for a distraction, but just me personally, how I self-reflect, I gotta look at myself and be like, yo, I can't. You know how hard I was condemning it. Now I can't take part in it. It's like, yo, and mind you, like it might be on in the crib because Leak lives here. If he wants to watch, I'm not gonna be like, yo, turn it off. I might sit there and talk to him, but like I probably wouldn't even be paying attention. Like, it's not. I would never actively. If the league comes back, I'm not going to actively watch it.
That's fair.
I respect it.
Yeah.
I respect where you stand on it. You got anything else on Rona?
Rona?
Rona in the league, rather?
I mean,
I think I hit everything.
God bless him, man. They want to try.
I trust you, Adam. Excuse me. I trust you, Mr. Silver. I got too much respect for you.
Oh man.
Where we at?
Where we
at? Shout outs. I think we about done.
Yeah.
I told you we can
Quick
quick
one.
But shout out to Tremont Waters.
Hey.
Named NBA GLeague Rookie of the Year.
He's tough, though.
We've seen him a few times get called up.
Yeah, for sure.
He played with Boston. I think he dropped like 26 on Cleveland.
Dang.
No, he's a hooper. Like
He's a hooper,
he can hoop.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
It's Cleveland.
There's other young guards on the other
27
side
in the
of
league. It's 27. I don't care who I'm playing in the league.
It was 26 and 10, I think.
26 and 10?
I think, yeah, like 26 and 10.
I ain't see that game. My bad, Tremont. I'm going to go watch the highlights.
He's tough, man. He's tough. I don't got any much more to say that I thoroughly expect him to be on a rotation.
Yeah, for sure.
In the near future.
He could be Lou Willis.
He's shifty enough. The shot is definitely there.
We saw it in college. He was going bananas.
So, and all of his peers say the same. Like, I think we heard some come from Ja Morant about him. We heard some come from Trae Young about him, saying like this dude's cold, and it's factual.
To touch on that point really quick, just about his peers, I think we don't listen to NBA players and basketball players around the world enough when they're talking about other basketball players and when they're talking about basketball, period. Because a lot of people get their knowledge from like the media or people who never played at that high up level. And I'm not disrespecting it. I'm not saying you don't know the game. But when somebody who's actively in there right now playing against these guys is trying to tell you something, like when you have a vote over who's the most underrated player, who's the most overrated player, and it's the guys who are actually playing, I think people should actually take more into that. And I think it's dismissed a lot of the times. But
I think I agree. We have to keep that in mind in terms of and weigh it. We have to properly weigh
properly. And I'm not trying to disrespect anybody in the media. I think y'all thoughts and opinions are. I'm sitting here. We in the media now.
Yeah.
But it's.
I mean, there's a lot of voices in media that I am a huge fan of. Tim Kornheiser, Mike Wilbon, Jackie McMullen. Like, they've been doing this thing.
Jackie's so tough.
Rachel Nichols. These are people I genuinely.
For sure.
These are people I genuinely love to hear from. And stop smiling when I say Doris. Weirdo.
So happy.
So
he just got so happy.
So, like, I actually appreciate their opinion. I appreciate what they have to say on the game. Yeah. So, you're right. You weigh it properly.
Just weigh it properly.
It has to be a consistent thought, and we have to take it into context and who's talking when they're talking.
For sure.
We just talked about Kendrick Perkins.
Yeah.
Perfect example. When he's hooping and when he was playing, ride or die with KD, ride or die with Russ. He's in the media now. Now he wants to talk about how, KD, you were kind of soft. You left for a 3-1 team. And you were up 3-1.
No, for sure. I was thinking more just of a collective. Like,
so if it's a consistent, like we're seeing
you got
from
50 NBA players trying to tell you about this one dude.
He's nice. And they're like, all right, yeah.
So I agree and disagree. I always say you gotta value players' opinions. It's one of the things. The reason a lot of people, or I have Kobe Bryant ranked higher than some people do, like our uncle, for example. NBA players regard Kobe to the highest extent. They say Kobe is one. Most NBA players would say Kobe Bryant's one of the top 5, top 3 players of all time. I don't necessarily have him ranked that high. I have him like top 8, however you want to phrase it, whatever. But most NBA players have him ranked in that top 3, top 5 category because they played against him. They see how hard he worked. They see his skill set. Yeah, they admired him. There's also a little bias that comes with that, though. Like, players oftentimes, and this is a true fact across the board, there's a reason most players, especially great players in NBA history, do not become great head coaches or great GMs.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
It's because when you're great or you're really good at what you do, you can't necessarily see the whole picture of everybody. You can see a player has a great handle, but you don't necessarily see that maybe he doesn't make the correct decisions or he's bad on defense. Like, you can see the talent there. Like I said, when we go out and play ball, I know Greg can do certain things on the court. It oftentimes blinds me to the fact that sometimes there's things he can't do on the court.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have the capability. I'm sure he says the same thing about me. There's certain things I can't do on the court, some things I can do. Players often have a tendency to get blinded or have a bias towards people who they look and they're like, yo, that person can do this really well. Yeah. He did it against me. He dropped 35 on my head.
You're not saying anything that's a lie, but biases exist in the media as well. That's what I'm saying. I just want everything way proportionally.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Like, I 100% believe there's player bias. I 100% believe there's, like, a media agenda.
Very true.
But, like, if 100 hoopers are telling me this dude's nice, I'm not going to slander him. Because it's something that I have to reevaluate and look at.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
True.
Shout out Tremont Waters. Shout out to our new NBA G League Select Team. Daishen Nix.
Jalen Green.
Isaiah Todd. I think Kai Sotto as well. All are going to be a part of that new team. The details on them. If you want to know the details,
you hear that, NCAA?
The details. If you want to hear the details, you want to see the details, I'm going to plug a video. I'm going to plug our in and out video that talks about Jalen Green and Isaiah Todd decision. And it kind of goes in depth in terms of what that looks like, how much they're getting paid, how the system will work, and how it affects the league and the NCAA. Of course, the NCAA took a huge hit. I'm of the mindset, we heard about Oklahoma State. I think Cade is on the way, if all things are well. That's just my guess. But the NCAA is slowly but surely taking some drastic hits. Drastic hits. Shout out to Brian Shaw. He is going to be the head coach. He's been doing this for a long time. I think he coached the Lakers for a stint. Didn't he coach the Lakers?
I think he was an assistant coach. I don't know if
he was assistant coach for the Lakers.
Yeah, he's been an assistant coach in a number of teams.
So he's been, and of course he was a player, NBA vet during the entire, I think,
coached the Nuggets.
Excuse me. So he was a vet for the Lakers during the Kobe Shaq stint.
Yep.
He was considered to be the mediator in a lot of those situations.
I think everybody was a mediator in those situations. If your name wasn't
everybody
Kobe or
had
Shaq,
to be,
you were a mediator.
You can't pick a side. That's a dangerous side. that's a dangerous life to live. So shout out to them. I don't think we're going to go any further on any of those topics. I'm not trying to give any attention to the NCAA right now. Just because I'm tired. I'm tired of the NCAA.
I mean, they're making some strides.
Florida did just sign off on the likeness, and
I mean, the NCAA said they're making that move too. So I mean,
I don't know.
They're making strides.
We're not gonna beat them up if they're better late than never, right?
For sure, but I'm not gonna applaud a fish for swimming. if it took no, for real. Like, think about
No, I get it.
the extent it took for the NCAA to look at itself and be like, you know what, we need to change something. Because 10 years ago, it was no, we're sticking with it. 5 years ago, it was no, we're sticking with it. A year ago, no, we're sticking with it.
9 months ago.
And now it took,
Gotta read the room, man. You
international
gotta read the room.
fights against injustice. And it took, a global pandemic for you to be like, you know what? Maybe we could pay a kid. Bro, I don't care. Like, I don't care.
Gotta read the room, man. Gotta read the room.
That's funny. That's funny.
I got a lot of pictures.
Y'all got anything else?
Oh.
Did I miss anything?
No, I think we good.
This was a good episode. Shout out to our boy League.
Yeah, I was just about to give him a shout out. Shout out to the League.
Low management league.
Nah, it's Father's Day. Like I said, shout out to all the fathers.
Yeah,
He went back
he
up
went to go
home to
see
be
his
with his
father.
pops. So
I ain't
yeah.
gonna hate him on that. Gotta do what he gotta do.
Most deaf.
Shout out to all, like, we got some subscribers, some new subscribers. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to some homies I play 2K with. Me and Brian play 2K with. Like,
Shout out to 2K home.
yeah, you gotta shout them out.
Real talk,
They
They support
that.
big time.
I
They
respect
support
that.
big time, man.
Shout out to 2K homies.
Christian, Noel, Rami,
Mar.
Jamaican. Yes, his
Yeah,
name isn't Jamaican, but he's Jamaican.
Jamaican.
Wait, no, like his name is Jamaican?
No, his
No,
name is not.
his online name is Jamaican.
Oh,
He's
I thought they
actually
named it Jamaican.
He's actually
Jamaican.
Jamaican.
I was like, that might be tough. I gotta reevaluate that. That sounds
God,
tough.
shame God.
Bro, it's tough sometimes.
So shout out to all of them, man. Kevin, appreciate all y'all for supporting.
Just shout out to the Web Boys.
Shout out to the Web Boys, man.
Yeah.
Any shout outs?
Shout out to the commenters on Instagram.
Big time.
Whenever y'all see our stuff, shout out to people who vote on the polls. Shout out to people who always hitting me in my DMs about ideas. Like, yo, like, Coop, you one of the main people. Always hitting me, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, like, yo, y'all should talk about this. Y'all think about that? Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
I appreciate
please.
all that input. Like, yes, you guys have a voice on this show. Like, that's the whole point. If we just wanted it to be about us, like, there wouldn't be a camera. There wouldn't be mics. We'd just come here every week and just talk about it.
Facts.
But we want to engage with y'all. So I really appreciate all the people who actually engage with us.
So please continue to support, continue to comment, continue to leave y'all thoughts and input. We want to create a community where discussion exists. We are not a divisive group of people. Y'all may see us like yell and all that and the third.
But we're always listening to what is being said.
Facts.
No matter how animated we are, we're
not
listening to the point.
We will not condone any toxicity in this space. So please just be mindful of that, but continue to show love, show support, and share your thoughts, share your opinions, no matter what they may be. You may say, great, that was dumb. I do not agree. And I can live with that as long as you tell me why.
I got a whole pod named after Kelly Oubre. It happens.
So, I think we done. Shout out to the boy Dunkman Keith.
Hey.
Dunkman Keith. Hold down the camera and the audio. We're not even going to put the whole where can we find you because y'all going to see it on the screen.
Okay.
I just thought about that. We always, it's always on the screen. Is it not?
It is.
It is.
Do you, man?
Do you want to do
I
your
don't care,
thing?
man.
You like the little sign off thing?
Whatever.
Was it cute to you?
It was. It's
Go
whatever.
ahead. Where can we find you?
I want to now.
Where can we find you?
I want to now. I don't want to.
You got something for us?
Man, real quick, everybody, I would like everybody to just try for personal growth. That's just my quick message. It's okay to self-reflect. When new information is presented to you, it's okay to change your old opinions or your misinformation that you had learned. It's okay to grow. It's okay to deconstruct and reconstruct. It's best done when you're doing it to yourself, when you can catch it before somebody else does. And if somebody does catch it before you, think about what they're saying to you about yourself and how you can actually just be a better person. Not everything is always an attack. So just like I said, self-reflect. It's okay to grow.
As I always say, eat, sleep, breathe the game. We love you. Be safe. We out.